I'm Dr. Joe Esposito, and welcome to our podcast, For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to our podcasts, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well.
The information presented on this program is not intended to take the place of your personal physician's advice, and it is not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent any disease. Discuss this information with your own physician or healthcare provider to determine what is right for you.
Are you suffering needlessly? Dr. Joe can give you advice on how to naturally get well and stay well. Dr. Joe Esposito.
What we're talking about today, we're going to cover several topics actually, but we're going to start out with mistakes that people make when they're eating well. People come to me all the time and say, Dr. Joe, I want to change my diet, and this is what I've done, and I eat really well. And then I look at what they're doing, and I'll say, well, I don't want to tell you you're not eating well, but there's a couple of things we probably want to tweak a little bit. So I never accuse a patient or a listener of anything wrong. I just want to let you know that you might have been a little misled there. But before I do that, I want to start with an article that came out this week in the Telegraph, which is from England. And the title was, Vitamin D Delivered to Millions of Vulnerable People to Help Protect from COVID. So what the article basically says is that they're shipping out this mass doses of vitamin D to people in England because we're realizing that people with normal vitamin D levels and higher vitamin D levels actually than we even recommended have a much better chance of not getting COVID, or if they do get it, just having very few symptoms. So once again, when this whole mess started with COVID, I talked about vitamin D and glutathione and vitamin C as the three things you have to have in your diet to get the best capability of fighting off disease, specifically COVID, but all diseases. So I talked about that way back then, and periodically I've popped up and mentioned it again in shows and lectures and video television. And here it is again. Now England is actually making it a government policy. We're going to start getting vitamin D out to people because we realize that myself and other researchers like myself were right. So vitamin D is the cheapest, I would say it's the cheapest insurance policy you'll ever buy. I take 5 drops of Dr. Joe's vitamin D3 with K2, it's all in the same bottle, and I take 5 drops a day. I couldn't imagine not taking 5 drops a day. Now, when I got my blood work done, 60 to 80 is where I want you to be, 60 to 90 grams per milliliter. I want you to be at that level. Mine was 58. So I was right where I wanted to be, but I upped my dose just a little bit for a couple of weeks, and now I'm back to my 5 drops again. So even me, who eats a really good diet and gets out in the sun a lot, my vitamin D was still just, again, 2 points it's not significant, but it was even a little low. So it's really important if you're not doing vitamin D, I would strongly advise you consider that as part of your protocol because it's real simple, it's really easy, it's 5 drops, it's inexpensive, there's no reason why you shouldn't be doing it, and England is now proving me right. So today's topics, we got a couple of topics we're going to cover today. But let's start out by talking about mistakes you make when you think you're eating healthy. Now, many people say, Dr. Joe, I can't imagine living like you. And I get that question, that statement every day. I can't imagine being like you. That's too much work. I can't commit to that. Absolutely no commitment whatsoever. What I'm asking you to do when it comes to nutrition is to not do something. I can't make it any easier. I'm actually telling you to not do things. So how much better can it be to do nothing? So people think that all the time. If you're living on string cheese and pizza and hot dogs and, grilled chicken and as much steak as you can possibly get your hands on, you think I could never eat different than that. You can. Because no matter how bad somebody's diet is, they are doing something right. And so what I'll tell people is, all right, well, I won't eat vegetables. I hear that one. I won't eat vegetables, Dr. Joe. I'm not going to do that. Okay, what vegetables do you like? Well, I'll eat broccoli, I'll eat green beans, I'll eat peas, or whatever your vegetable of choices are. I'll say, okay, let's start there. Let's make a list of all the things you will eat. Okay, well, I'll eat celery, but I won't eat lettuce, but I'll have onion. And all right, let's make a list. So every day I want you to have one thing off this list. Oh, I could do that because I like those things already. Then we're going to talk about a little bit more about adding things, variety into your diet. And then you try something new and you say, I don't like that. I don't like asparagus, artichokes, whatever it is. Okay, great. You don't have to eat that. People say, I had tried tofu once and I didn't like it, so I could never not eat meat. Well, wait a minute. You've gone on dates before you didn't like the person. You didn't stop dating. We're going to have times in our lives we don't like something. And so if you don't like something, well, just don't do it. Go on to something else. And so that's the point I want to make. It's easy to make these changes, and you don't have to be perfect. I remember years ago I had an IT guy, and he was listening to one of our shows, And he said, you said something today you never said before. And I said, what was that? He said, you said you don't have to do everything at once. He says, people don't realize you don't have to do everything at once to get well. And I said, that's a good point. So I said, you don't have to do everything at once. But you're going to hit speed bumps along the way. You don't have to worry about that. Dr. Joe, I broke down. It was my birthday. I had a steak and I had pizza or whatever it was. I always say, how'd you feel? They say, awful. I said, good. I'm glad you felt awful because I proved to you that I was right. They go, oh, no, you're right. You're absolutely right. Just get back on the wagon again. If you fall off the wagon, just get back on. It's no big deal. Another thing that people do is when let's say they go vegan or they go vegetarian, they don't have enough variety in their diet. They're going to eat the pizza. They're going to eat the vegan hot dogs and the hamburgers that are made out of, whatever, soybeans. You need to shake it up a little bit. Pasta becomes real popular when people give up meats. They say, I'm going to eat pasta every night. That's not a good idea because pasta is made with wheat. Well, there's a lot of different pastas, but if you're eating wheat pasta, not a good idea because wheat is high in gluten, and gluten is just evil when it comes to people's health care. It affects their colon. It affects your sinuses. It's a number 2 food allergen. Dairy's number 1. Wheat's number 2. And so people come to me all the time and say, Dr. Joe, my nose is always runny. I'm always sick all the time. I'm coughing up phlegm. Could be you have a hiatal hernia. The stomach could be pushing up against the diaphragm. And my doctors are well trained in fixing that. In most cases, we can pull the stomach away from the diaphragm. And then we get them off wheat and dairy, and people think that we're gods. Oh, my God, you're amazing. My sinuses aren't clogged anymore. I'm not congested anymore. My breath is fresh again. Oh, my gosh, you're amazing. No, we're just smart. And all you got to do is these really simple things like that. So just start adding variety. And again, what you do then is you say, okay, I'm giving up meat or dairy or whatever it is, which I hope you do. And I say, make a list of foods you will eat. And this is a little trick I teach to parents as well. My kid won't change their diet. And kids are tough. Teenagers are tougher, actually. And you say, I don't know what to do about that. I say, okay, make a list of the foods your child will eat. Well, they'll eat tacos. Okay, put tacos on the list. We're going to do bean tacos, not beef tacos. Okay, good, we can do that. They like guacamole. Okay, put guacamole on the list. Great. They don't like tomatoes. Well, don't put tomatoes on the list. Just start thinking of what you can eat, not so much what you can eat. And don't be so obsessed with protein. Garrett and I laugh all the time whenever we do shows, whenever we do lectures, whenever we do TV spots. The question always comes up, where do you get your protein? Go to our website, drjoe, drjoe.com. Garrett's laughing there behind the camera. drjoe.com. We have over 1,500 hours of podcasts, and one of them we did was just type in protein. Listen to the show we did on protein. I will dispel that myth that you need more protein in your diet. You don't need more, you need less. Most people need less. You only need about 8 to 10% of your total caloric intake is protein. A steak is about 17%. So if you're going to eat a piece of animal flesh, that extra protein has to be broken down, processed, and taken out of the body. And that happens through the liver and the kidneys. And if you eat a lot of meat, that clogs up or damages the liver and the kidneys in many cases, and that can cause serious problems long term. So it's not just the meat and the cholesterol and the steroids and the hormones and chemicals, pesticides, herbicides, genetically modified food, and glyphosate that's in most commercial meat. It's also the fact that your body has to break it down and process it out. Because then I'll get, what about deer? What if I hunt my own animals? What if I do grass-fed? If you're going to do animal products, and I wish you wouldn't, but if you're going to do animal products, organic only. The word organic is the only word that matters. Okay, so organic meats and dairy products and eggs, anything animal, I would prefer you don't do it at all, though. Okay, but again, baby steps if we have to. Many people, when they switch their diets, they start switching to these substitutes. Dr. Joe, I want cheese substitutes. I want meat substitutes. I want hamburger substitutes. Even the big chains now are coming out. We see the one is Impossible Burger. One of them is Beyond Burger. And I just heard one with Golden Arches is going to come out with their own. It's called McPlant. And they're not going to use another manufacturer. They're going to actually manufacture their own. So, I mean, think about this. When you see big companies like this switching their menu, a menu that's tried and true and it's working and they're making money hand over fist, and they're going to change their menu, you got to know that this is the direction the world is going. And I'm real excited about that. I've tried the veggie burgers at these restaurants. They're okay. But I'm just excited that the mentality is there. And I feel like after, 3-4 decades of getting the message out, finally myself and people like me have gotten across to say, yes, this is the way to go. And it's not weird anymore. You don't eat meat anymore. It used to be weird when I went vegan many, many years ago. Now it's like, oh, yeah, cool. Here's the vegan options on the menu. What would you like? You go to restaurants, Thai restaurants, Chinese restaurants, even Italian restaurants. This is the vegan choices we have now. Mexican restaurants. So I'm really excited that that's happening, but don't go crazy with these processed meats and dairy products. A little bit, yeah, what the heck, I don't mind. But too much of it is dangerous because it is processed. It's still hard on the body. And again, the goal I have, and I want, hopefully you have too, is to get as well as possible, as quickly as possible. So if you're throwing a lot of this junk down in your diet, even though it's vegan, it's still junk. Okay, so you got to be careful with that. So don't eat too many substitutes. People always ask me, they don't know what to eat. The first book I ever wrote was called Eating Right for the Health of It. It's on the website, drjoe.com. And on there, the first half of the book tells you how to change your diet. And the second half of the book is well over 200 recipes. Everything you can get in any grocery store. It's easy, it's quick, it's really, really inexpensive. And once people start getting into this lifestyle, they go, oh my God, this is amazing. I feel great. I'm saving money. I have more energy. I'm going to the bathroom better. My love life improves. My brain is working better. There's no downside to getting well. There really isn't. And I talk to people all the time. In fact, I was talking to a very dear friend of mine, and she said too, she says, I don't crave sugar anymore. And patients tell me that all the time. They say, I just don't crave sugar once I've changed my diet. If I do have something, it's too sweet. Because you've bombarded yourself with not only sugar, but high fructose corn syrup and artificial sweeteners, which are way sweeter than regular sugar. And your body just becomes immune to sugar then. I can't take this anymore. I've got too much sugar. And your body says, I want more, I want more, I want more. Now that you've weaned off it, when you do go back to these things like high fructose corn syrup, which by the way is way sweeter than regular sugar, your body can't handle it. And I'm very, very happy that that's happening and that you can make better choices. So, and we also did a great show on addiction. You might want to go to the website, drjoe.com, and listen to that. And listen to the show we did on addiction because it talks about the neurophysiology of what addiction is, how the brain is affected, and then the steps you can take to essentially reboot your brain, which is kind of cool. The other thing I find is when people start taking supplements, they're able to make better choices. Because many times, if you've had a bad diet, your body is just deprived of nutrients. Excuse me, and it just can't, there you go, it just can't work like it's supposed to. And so when we start replacing a lot of those nutrients, the brain and the body start to work normally again, and those cravings go away. Because the body is designed to function at a very high level, and when it starts to crash, you put this junk food in there to try to artificially stimulate it and jumpstart it. And then we talked about addiction and how it affects the brain, and you want more junk food. So the two supplements I recommend for everybody, minimum supplements, would be Dr. Joe's Super Greens and Dr. Joe's Essential Source. They're 2 powders. They taste great. I can't imagine a day going by without Super Greens and Essential Source. If I travel, I take it with me. You can put it, it's in a plastic container. You can put it in a plastic bag if you want to. They're green powders, so you don't have to worry about anybody suspecting anything weird. I've never, ever, ever had any problems whatsoever, whether it's an airline or if it's a cruise. I've never had a problem. It goes right through security. It's never a big deal. But when you travel, more importantly, is when you need your supplements. Make sure your immune system is strong. But when people take Super Greens and Essential Source, they oftentimes say, Dr. Joe, my cravings are gone. I'm eating less food. I feel better. I'm losing weight. Had a young lady come in yesterday, and she told me exactly that. She said, I have lost like 22 pounds in like a month and a half, and I haven't really done anything different, but I'm taking the supplements, so I find I'm eating less, and I'm losing weight. So she was really excited about that. Now, we do have a doctor-supervised weight loss program that we can put you on if you want to do that as a jump start, but many times the supplements work really well. So anyway, those supplements, Super Greens and Essential Source, are on the website, drjoe.com, and you can order them right online, or you can pick them up at our offices. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb in the Atlanta area. We would love to have you come by and say hi. And then the benefit to you is you save shipping costs. And I'm more than happy to cut costs anywhere we can. In fact, we're going to have to raise the price on them in the next couple of weeks on all our supplements because manufacturing prices have gone up and we can't continue to keep doing that. So you will see a slight increase in your supplements in the next couple of weeks. So sorry about that. Nothing I can do about it. So the supplements are online, drjoe.com. And the website, again, has over 1,500 hours of podcasts. So if you're liking this, if this is something you enjoy, go to the website, drjoe.com, 1,500 hours, audio and video, absolutely free. It's my gift to you. Look up different topics, listen to different shows that we've done. We have audio, we have video, whatever works best for you. We want to be your doctors. And again, if you have a healthcare issue, we'd love for you to come see us. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. So whether it's neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, degenerative arthritis, We now have a medical division where we have patients can be treated for erectile dysfunction, women with weak bladder, even hair growth stimulation, non-surgical facials. PRP, which is a lot of the things we use PRP for a lot of these things. If you have knee arthritis, shoulder arthritis, spinal arthritis, folks, I think you'd be silly and you'd be wrong not to consider a PRP consultation. It's relatively inexpensive, and we take blood out of you and take out the growth factors, the platelets, and re-inject it back into the body. And when we do that, that stimulates the body's healing process. And so if you have arthritis, if you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, digestive issues, nutrition issues, chances are you're suffering needlessly. And the biggest complaint I get is, why didn't I do this sooner? Why have I waited so long to get well? We want to get you well and keep you well. You can get more information on the website, drjoe.com. You can book an appointment right there, as a matter of fact. A lot of people, when they switch to eating healthy, and that's what we're talking about today. I've got so many topics, I'm not going to cover all of them, obviously. They think they're eating well. Well, you know what, Dr. Joe, I've given up meat. I've given up dairy products. I've listened to you. Gosh, I feel so much better. And then I look at their diet, and they're eating things like the long sleeves of chocolate cream cookies that are what we call accidentally vegan. Didn't mean to be vegan, they just don't have any animal products in them. If you think that's going to help, maybe you're eating chips. Well, chips are vegan too. If you think that's going to be healthy, you're wrong. You got to start thinking about it. You're kidding yourself. I'd love to eat chips every day. I love chips. Who doesn't love chips? Everybody loves chips. There's different types of chips. You're still going to gain weight. You're going to feel bloated. You're going to feel awful. The body is not going to function properly because, again, we're not getting the nutrients that our body needs. And 30 years ago, 20 years ago, we didn't have to worry about things like steroids and hormones and chemicals and pesticides and genetically modified food. And now we do. So it's a very different world today than it was, 20, 30 years ago. And that's why it's so important that you supplement your diet. And that's what a supplement is. It supplements your diet. It's not instead of a good diet. It's in addition to a good diet. Because people say, well, Dr. Joe, I take your super greens and essential source, your vitamin D, your B complex, your digestive enzymes, your glutathione, like you told me, for my immune system, and then I go out and have horrible diet. Yeah, but I'm taking supplements. They're going in the right direction, but it's not solving the problem. So I'm not unhappy you're doing the supplements, please understand, but I want you to understand there's a lot more to it. And as a chiropractor, when patients have pain, when they come see us, so often they start to see results relatively quickly. And one of the biggest problems, and just chatting now, one of the biggest problems we have with patients is they start to feel better. They start to feel better, and their first instinct is, you know what? I don't need to continue my treatment. You guys are awesome. I've had this neck pain, back pain, headaches, leg pain, whatever it is, for decades. You guys fixed me. No, we didn't fix you. We got you out of pain. That's step one in the treatment plan. Step two is when you're feeling better, to stabilize the spine. And I know it's human nature to say, I feel great, I don't need to go there. It's a mistake. Because chances are the problem's going to creep back in again, and then you're going to say, well, A, I'm going to listen to Dr. Joe this time, or B, it didn't work. I only got temporary relief. Well, you only went for a temporary amount of time. And I see that all the time. I've been doing this a long time now. And every single day we reactivate patients. And patients come back in and they say, you know what, Dr. Joe, you were right. So don't make that mistake that other people, it takes longer, it costs more money. Don't make that mistake. Just do what we say the first time. It's only a few weeks worth of care in most cases. And most people are extremely happy that they came to see us. And not only them, but they'll send their husbands, wives, children, relatives, friends, coworkers. Had a lady come in the other day and she showed me her phone and it was a car flipped over. I said, oh my God, this happened to you? She goes, no, it's one of my coworkers. And I'm begging him to come see you. And he keeps saying he doesn't have time. Okay. I said, he's going to make the time. Trust me. A couple of days later, I walk in. He goes, yeah, well, Joan referred me in. And I said, oh, you were the guy in the car accident that flipped. He says, yeah. I said, I thought you didn't have time to come see us. He goes, no. Now I've made time. The pain is, the trauma has made me make time. So don't be silly. Just come in and see us. We'd love to see you. Anyway, I digress. Some people think that if they're going to change their diet, that they're going to have to give up things like desserts. Oh, I love desserts. I love sweets. I love baked goods. There are healthier cookies and cakes and donuts and pastas and ice cream. Doesn't mean it's good for you. It means it's not as bad for you. But in my book, we talked about that earlier, Eating Right for the Health of It, we actually have a chapter on desserts. And you can make healthy desserts. You can make raw desserts. And if you listen to my show before, you know I talk about raw food. Raw food has something in it called enzymes. And enzymes are, I did a whole show on enzymes actually. Enzymes are the missing link in healthcare. Without enzymes, nothing else works. So the enzymes are the things that do the healing, that's facilitate the molecules coming together to grow new tissue and grow new discs and bones and joints. So without the enzymes, nothing else matters. So that's why I want you to eat something raw at every meal, because raw food has enzymes in it. Dr. Joe's Super Greens, Dr. Joe's Essential Source, tons of enzymes. Most of the ingredients are raw in there. So we have desserts that you can do that are just spectacular. And once again, remember, when you start cutting back and cutting back the bad foods and changing your diet, your taste buds are going to change. And when they change, you're going to say, now I get it. I was talking to somebody the other day, and I was saying how you go through life, and you go through chapters in your life. And I always picture life as like a book, and you keep turning the pages. And you go through these different chapters in your life. And you may have that chapter where you're a rebel teenager. You might want to smoke, or you might want to drink. And then you realize that's not good for me. And then you turn the page. And when you turn the page, go to a different chapter, that's what's going to happen when you change your diet. You're going to have more energy. You're going to feel better. You're going to go out more. You're going to start partying more. You're going to say, I should go for a walk today instead of just sitting around the house. And things change. Your relationships change. Your brain function change. Your love life, your digestive system. And that's when life becomes fun. And then you think, oh my gosh, I remember I could never live without coffee ice cream. Now I don't even think about coffee ice cream or whatever your cheat is there. So it's okay. And again, in my book, Eating Right for the Health of It, we have tons of recipes there as well. And some people think when they change their diet, they become invincible. You know what? I do everything Dr. Joe says. I never have to go to the doctor. I never have to get a checkup. Baby, I'm bulletproof. You're not. Okay? We have a medical division here at our office. And in the medical division, we treat a lot of medical issues. We can balance hormones. Many times as you get older, the hormones start to drop, and we can do a blood work on you, and then we can balance hormones either through supplements or plant-based bioidentical hormones. And we can try to get things back to the way they were when you were younger. And trust me, things are a lot of fun. Life gets a lot of fun when you start acting like a young kid again. And we're really good at anti-aging in our office. We really want to get in there and reverse or at least heal some of that aging damage that's occurred to you. And when you can turn back time and start to get, the face start to look better with less wrinkles and the digestive system work and the belly flatten out and the love life start to pick up again, it's pretty cool stuff. You can even do PRP, like I said, erectile dysfunction for women if they have bladder leakage or if they have issues because they're getting older. The PRP even works for that in most cases. So it's pretty crazy stuff. Now, if you go to our website, drjoe.com, we have a drop-down column and it says services. And under there, we list all our services. And so feel free to look things up. If you have questions, you could always send us an email. I'm more than happy to answer them for you. If you have neck pain, back pain, shoulder pain, if you've ever been in a car accident, digestive issues, arthritis, stop suffering. Go to the website, make an appointment now. The initial chiropractic visit was $375. We've reduced it now to $199. We'd love to be your doctors. That's an exam, x-rays, consultation, first adjustment, going over the x-rays, and a complete nutrition evaluation. Nutrition evaluation alone is $150. So if you want to do it right now on the website, drjoe.com. We have offices in Marietta, Duluth, Stockbridge, and West Cobb. Folks, I'm Dr. Joe Esposito. Thank you so much. Follow us on Facebook and Instagram at Dr. Joe Esposito. We'll catch you next time. Thanks for listening to For the Health of It. Remember to subscribe to this podcast, and I'll help you naturally get well and stay well. You can also listen to and call into my radio show live Sunday evenings from 7 to 9 Eastern Time on WSBRadio.com and on a WSB Radio app.
It's a new day.